This is the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. Come explore the big woods and timber in North America with your host, Maine Master Guide and deer tracking expert Hal Blood. Listen to Hal and co-hosts Lee Libby and Joe Cruzy as they unlock the secrets of big woods whitetails. Each episode will provide valuable insights into the tried and true system Hal has used for the last 40 years to scout, locate, and hunt mature big woods bucks. Listen and laugh as the crew discusses Hal's legendary adventures and learn how to apply a lifetime's worth of lessons from the big woods to your own hunting and outdoor adventures.
Welcome to the Big Woods Bucks Podcast. I'm your host, Hal Blood. I'm sitting over here in the beautiful town of Rangeley, the home of Leon Libby. You here, Lee?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Lee's here, and Joe.
Hello.
And our special guest today, Rick Labbe.
Hello.
I know you've been asking for him, so we brought him back. Actually, we probably have him for a couple. So, anyway, we drove over here in the snow. Lee's all mad because it's turned to sleet over here in Rangeley. There's only a couple inches. So now that'll be good, though. We won't be able to talk so much about snowmobiling.
No, I think he still wants to talk about it.
My new career as a weatherman. Because you can be wrong all the time and still get paid.
Still get paid.
Yeah.
You know
They've had a challenge with it this year, that's for sure. They haven't called too many right this year.
You know what I like about it? It's good for the deer.
It is good for the deer, yep.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to the snow that's in the woods now.
No.
Really.
I've never seen anything like it since
It's like
I've been doing this up here. There's been no thaw at all, so it's just powder right to the ground.
dry, sugary powder, and in about 250-degree days, most of it be gone.
Gonna be gone. Yeah. The extended forecast looks warm too.
Not for a week or so.
Yeah,
is it?
1st of March though, looks.
Oh, well, yeah. When you get into March, you're going to get some warm weather. Yeah. It'll go quick. Probably be one of them years. I remember 2 different years sometime after the middle of March, towards the end, the snow was half gone or mostly gone. I remember rabbit hunting on half bare ground in March around Jackman. It was crazy. Yeah. See the rabbits good.
I know the only thing on Lee's mind, because when I came in here and cleared the table off to set up our stuff on his notepad, the only thing written on it is Rick Labbe, Wyoming. So I know where Lee's mind is. He couldn't care less about deer right now.
He was texting me at 6 a.m.
I was being nice too because I wanted to start at 4:30. I'm like, geez, I know Rick, but I don't know him that well. He could text back the middle finger or something.
Oh, you got to respond that way next time.
Next time.
Give him 2.
No limits anymore.
That's how we always respond to Lee.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I was supposed to be out there this week, and we were going to drive out, and there were so many storms in the forecast, we decided not to.
Tell the truth. I'm going to be there, and you wanted to be out there with me.
This is true.
Yeah.
Right.
We are going to tear some crap up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually going out the 3rd of March with a group of guys, and Lee's coming to the 8th, and he's coming out the 8th, so I think I'm going to stay.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, you won't have to twist my arm very much.
Me and Joe will stay back here and putt around on our tundras.
Yep.
Joe?
Yeah, that's all I need.
Yeah.
We'll send you some pictures.
I messed Lee. I called him the other day about the podcast, and I'd already talked to Rick and knew the dates you were going out and everything. And Lee says, "Hey, what are you doing March 8th to the 16th?" I said, "I'm going snowmobiling in Wyoming." He was just quiet for a minute. Jeez, we are too. I said, "I know, Lee." But that'd be a fun trip. Maybe last minute I'll jump a flight and
You should
join you.
I won't. I'll putt around my tundra.
Yeah. Chances are I'll be right next to you.
It's nice to go different places. Like, I rode with Brant. This is my 3rd time. So every other year for the last 5 years. And he's fun to ride with, you know what I mean? And he's professional. We've all been with other guides, and we're the biggest critic of other guides, right? Because we have a level of expectation, and he meets that level. He does good, so we'll go out there and spend 3 days with him, and then we're going to jump in a truck and drive up. We're hauling all our stuff out, so.
Yep. It'll be a good trip.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, that's our quota of snowmobile time.
Hal's been over there squirming and moving around. And
if you're hunting coyotes off a sled,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then he'll talk.
Then it's a 45-minute segment.
Yeah. We did that segment coming over.
Yeah, we had a couple good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, the coyote hunting's been going good, though. I just call it saving a deer one coyote at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick's saving all the rabbits.
Yeah. Well, them bobcats kill a lot of deer, too.
Yeah, they'll kill fawns, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just fawns. They'll kill any of them. They'll jump right on their back, grab their windpipe, huh, Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a buddy of mine in Florida shot one off the back of deer down there one time. He heard all the squalling going on, and he came around the corner, and he shot one right off the back of a deer.
I remember you sent me a picture of that years ago or something.
Yeah.
I know Paul Laney told me one year he was hunting cats up by the Golden Road, and there was 14 deer staying in a little pocket down on the river there below Sabumic Dam, and a cat got in there and killed every one of them deer before the winters, before he found it. There was dead deer. He'd kill one. He'd just kill one and then eat it, and then he'd just go kill another one instead of eating on the same one. 14 deer, that one cat. It was a big male, like 45 pounds or something.
Yeah.
Killed all them deer in that pocket right there.
Yeah. Those big ones will.
Yeah.
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 You've done pretty good with the cats this year.
Yeah, we've got 3 big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. 35 and up.
Yeah.
And we usually don't shoot anything if it's under 25. We let quite a few go.
Yeah.
Fun running the dogs.
Yeah. Plenty of them down middle of Maine, southern Maine, but up north they're pretty much extinct.
Yeah. No more cats up north.
It's all lynx.
Yeah.
Don't tell the biologist.
Yeah, well, they know.
It's funny. I see all these pictures from, Jim Guy moved out there to Alaska, and
Yeah.
he had a couple lynx the other day he trapped.
A couple nice ones, yeah.
Yeah, so what's the big difference between there and here? We got a good enough population. Can't understand why.
Yeah, Paul,
They let it affect everything
I
so
was
much.
actually talking to Paul Laney the other day, and he told me I think he come across 13 lynx and no bobcats
Yeah.
up in Jackman.
I took my grandson out Sunday. We took a little trip. We drove in by remote camp there and dumped the machine, and he wanted to go look for a moose antler, give him something to do. So we just putted around. We made a big loop into the west there and went up through Beatty, and we come out over on the Merrill Strip, and then we cut through the woods. There's a little trail that cuts through from Skinner, goes across Big Indian Pond, and it comes back out Chaparral and back around there. But I don't think in that whole trip, even counting driving in the Holub Road, I don't think we saw 3 coyote tracks in all of that country.
Yeah.
And we saw no bobcat tracks, of course. And the deer, I was kind of interested to see if the deer had left into in the remote camp there, because one year they did stay there, probably 5-6 years ago. There was a winter, there wasn't more than 2 feet of snow this time of year. It wasn't much difference, but it was a light snow. But this year they were out of there, and there was actually a little bit more snow over in that country from that last storm. It was deeper in from the Gore into Beatty and stuff. But the deer had gone. But we saw, I think, probably at least 8 lynx tracks. There was 4 in a bunch. Must have been a mother with 3 kittens or something over on Big Indian. But there was lynx tracks all through the country, but nothing else,
Yeah, a lot of lynx.
And not many rabbits either. You'd get where there'd be 2 or 3 tracks here and there. But
I saw a rabbit the other day that was mottled. It was as much brown as it was white.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
just didn't change all the way.
Camouflage.
Yeah.
Camouflage pattern.
He's ready for
Low snow winter.
Yeah.
He's ready for spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think there's enough snow, though. I was telling you, Hal, that there's a lot of snow out in the cuts and stuff. I mean, over my knees, where if we got the wrong conditions quick and then it froze up or something, it could turn bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of deer haven't come to town.
most
No,
of them
most
haven't.
of them haven't.
So they're out there.
But they won't be out in the cut. In the softwood right now, there ain't
Not
more
bad
than-
in the softwood,
There ain't
yeah.
more than 10 inches of snow. You get under the softwood trees.
All 3 acres of it.
Yeah.
All that massive softwood that's out there.
Yeah.
Don't let them guys know there's a softwood patch left.
They'll find it.
Be 30 of them bidding on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know what the exact count. I think we've killed like 25 coyotes though But we got them pretty well cleaned up around town again. You know, there's always one or two coming and going here and there, but I think we killed 12 off of one bait where the meat cutter puts his scrap starting in September there. Because they all kind of got concentrated because they couldn't get any deer, so they was feeding there. But so yeah, I hadn't heard about or found. None of us have heard or found about a deer being killed by a coyote all winter. And I stopped the other day at Calvin's to get an appointment for my truck, and I was telling him that, and he said he'd found one a couple weeks ago up on Little Bigwood. I said, why didn't you tell us? You know, that'd have been a good chance to go there. But
yeah, you'd got him.
Yeah, it was probably, he said there was a bunch of tracks there because usually you kill when they get howling, you know, and some other ones come in. But
right.
Someone was telling me of a piece of woods they were going in to cut here shortly, and he said, yeah, they've been waiting. It's a deer yard, and they've been following it and waiting for it to officially not be a deer yard so they can go in and cut it now. I said, well, there you go. Yeah. Go ahead and cut the last bit.
Yeah, what's left. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that them guys are still. I feel bad for the loggers right now because
this rough.
Yeah, this morning I got my new pricing from the local builder supply. Spruce has tripled, and sheet goods have doubled. And I have friends that are loggers that are still getting the same money they got for that spruce and fir 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I think they put the screws to the loggers when they started paying them straight tonnage. You know. Because now,
probably,
I think so.
Now it's whatever you can get to us.
Yeah.
And I just feel bad because, and where's it end? You know, it ain't ended.
And fuel prices are skyrocketing again.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
do you
that's
see
not
the
helping
gas
things.
prices jumping already? Ridiculous.
let's not get political about that.
No. I'm just saying.
In general,
you know,
I mean, it's a fact of facts.
Yeah, I know.
The wholesalers and the middleman is the one that's holding all the product back. They really are, to create what is an image of a shortage.
You're right.
But the poor loggers are so deep into the banks, most of them, that they got to make those payments, you know, and keep going. And what's the straw? So we were talking this morning in a meeting, like, what's the straw that's going to break this? And unfortunately, you almost got to cut them off and say, we ain't giving you nothing till we get something. I know a lot of those land buyers or the landowners got increases for, you know, product. And I know for a fact a lot of that didn't get passed down.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
too bad.
Shitty.
Yeah.
The other part for the loggers is especially with the equipment, is they got to cut 10 trees for every one they used to cut. You know what I mean? There's just no volume in each tree. So you see some of them trucks go down the road, there must be 1,000 sticks of wood on a tree.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
just
they're getting.
Yeah, you wonder how they get a 2x4 out of some of the stuff they got.
Yeah. Well, they don't.
They're pallets.
Now you're getting product. If it has, if it only has two wane sides, they're calling it a number 2.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so to put a square edge on it, you might as well start building with logs again. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, we get a lift of, I think, what is it? A pack of 2x6s, 240 or 260 pieces, and the boys sent back 80 out of one pack because you break the band on them and they'll turn on you right in the pile
Instantly. Yeah.
Instantly. Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's all that small wood. There's so much grain in it. It just twists right up. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, we were over on Quill Hill here a couple weeks ago. We shot a big cat over there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
And ran him 2 days. And the second day we killed him there. But there was bucks all over Quill Hill where you never see them this time of year.
We're gonna have Chris beep that out. No.
But you know,
this morning I'm like to myself, I have a new friend. Rick Labbe's my friend. And now,
Rick, you might want to rethink that position.
He's diverting everybody from what's that stream down there?
Portage Brook.
Portage Brook. Yeah.
Now it's Quill Hill.
Yeah.
No, we just put a light out there. There's a stoplight on Portage Brook now. The traffic's so heavy.
Solar powered, is it?
Yeah. And everyone that hunts there is going, because of you, Lee.
Wow. The biologist came to me and says, "Can you help us get the deer population back in Portage Brook?" I'm like, sure. Reverse psychology. Send everybody there.
Send them all there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, but just saying, all the mountains, everywhere you go, there's bucks and deer running around where you never see them this time of year.
I found a buck with two moose over on Bemis the other day.
Yeah.
His buck track was right in their foot tracks.
Yeah.
So he's hanging right there pretty close.
But there is no bottom to this snow. You just go right to the bottom.
Yeah.
There's no base or anything set up.
I went and cleared some the other day that had been sitting there all winter. It was just something I shoveled out, and I just took a swing at it, and it went right down to the dirt at bare ground, just like, there's nothing.
And it ain't froze.
No frost.
No frost.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to stop melting from the bottom and the top when it goes. Go quick.
No better winter than we've had, and as good as it's been for the deer, it might as well melt. Let's get to work.
Yeah.
2016, we started working outside again, March 16th, I remember. That was the last year that I can remember a year like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll take it.
Yeah. It's too late now to wish
You'll be
for
in Wyoming.
Yeah, I will.
You'll be riding.
I might stay right there.
Snowmobile season to shed season, just like that.
Yeah.
Then we're right into the moose hunt as far as the drawing, right? Friday's the deadline.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they already did the first drawing. They, because if you don't know that Maine's got they did a system. This is the third year where they allow outfitter tags, and if you've got a sporting camp license, you can apply for an outfitter tag. They don't give very many of them. I think this year there was 60.
I didn't see what the total was.
Yeah, there's like 60. It's been like 50 to 60 tags. Not a lot of tags. And it was the idea to get business to outfitters in northern Maine that kind of struggled since the deer herd went downhill back there about 10 years ago, all up north. It was when it kind of, took a dive way up in the, northern part of the state. But anyways, so that was kind of a thing to help outfitters out with some income for at least a week anyway. So that was the premise of the outfitter tags, and they had that drawing, I don't know, must be 2 weeks ago now, a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yeah, 4 weeks ago.
And I heard there was 76 applicants for the 60 tags. Almost everybody got one. But you got one, Joe.
Yep. And, still got it.
Yep. Quite a few people got one. Still got it.
Haven't used it yet.
Hasn't used it yet. Oh, does that mean that's for sale?
Yeah, that's available. Yeah, well, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've got a few people online, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, anybody out there looking to go moose hunting, it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing up here, we always felt. But these tags are, because of what they are, they're the money on the hunt's quite a bit because the outfitter buys the tag and then packages it up with a hunt and then
but
sells it to
you look at what the auction tags are going for, and a lot of people can't understand why they go for so much, but
it's a limited commodity.
There's people out there.
And demand. I think the outfitter ones are now if you don't bid, it's either like 22 or 23,000. You're not in the running for
auction?
An auction tag, yeah.
Auction. I think, last year I think the bottom of the line was like 16 or 17.
Oh, was it?
Somewhere around there.
Maybe the top.
But still,
ones.
There's 10 tags, so what's the range?
10, yeah. I heard it was 22 or 23, maybe was the high bid or something, but.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So.
And then, some people will buy that and do it on their own, but most that get that, then they got to spend, $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 for their guide, and.
Yeah.
So it gets pricey, but you take a guy that, the comparison a lot of people always give is, well, I could go to Alaska for that, which that's bottom. If you're going on a guided hunt in Alaska, they're
bottom.
starting at 20,000. But
and the success rate isn't as high in Alaska as it is here.
No, it's bigger bulls, obviously, but
it's a different subspecies, though.
Yeah.
So
but some guys have been there a number of times and they just want to try Maine, or and it's supply and demand.
Yeah.
And the outfitters, people get angry about it, but the outfitters, who's not going to capitalize on it and make the most they can from it? It's business,
Right.
Well, I'm going to guide on it. A friend of mine has got a sporting camp, and he wants me to guide the hunt on that, so I'm going to have a tag available, or I do have one. I haven't put it out there too much, but because it's just happening, so. Anybody wants to talk about it, you can email me or you can email Joe.
Yeah, we both got good zones. I got
a zone. You got a zone 4.
Yeah, I got a 4 September.
First season, and I got a zone 1. I'm going to think I'll be hunting up Big Woods Boulevard. Pretty sure bet on that.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to go, let us know. You can get me at hal@bigwoodsbucks.com. And what's your email, Joe?
Joe at lakeparlandlodge.com.
Oh, that's easy enough.
Imagine that.
So if there's any interest in
I don't
going
have one of
moose
those
hunting with
fancy
us,
Big Woods email addresses.
Yeah.
My
Well,
wife got one, but I don't have one.
when she got hers, she made sure she told us she didn't want you to have one.
Good. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Ooh, jealousy going on there.
Yeah. I don't need to be part of that.
Yeah. That's going to
so
be
now
fun
we covered
anyway.
snowmobiling and moose hunting.
Yeah,
We're gonna
but
talk about
anybody
sheds now.
But if you don't know about the moose hunt too, I know we've talked about it. Is they've just last week or so they opened up the regular lottery, so you can apply for the regular lottery now, and I think you can apply to like May 15th or something online. You just go to Maine Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah, another big controversy is the whole. Well, I don't know if it's a big controversy, but a lot of chatter about the cow hunt they're doing in Zone 4, which, anything like that's going to be controversial. But
they're doing that. They're doing an experiment to see if they can deal with the tick problem we've had the last 5, 6, 7 years. And what they're going to do is take half of one zone and
split it into 2 parts.
Yeah, take half the zone and then try to suppress the moose down by killing more cows in that zone and see if the lower number of moose ends up meaning there'll be less ticks because there's less hosts. I mean, it's logically, it makes sense that it will. And the zone they picked was one that has a high population of moose plus a high calf mortality. It's still got a high tick population. The calf mortality is still, I think he said, over 50% in that zone still, so they're half dying. You know what I mean? Usually in a normal year, before we had ticks, you very rarely ever saw, dead calves in the winter. I mean, they pretty much made it, most of the winters. But, if you're half of them are dying, you're not adding much to the population. So they got to try something, they feel. So, yeah, we'll let the biologist try it, see what happens, and maybe that is the answer.
Al and I were talking. I said it's going to be easy to call a bulling in those places with their no cow, when the cows get knocked down.
Right.
Those bulls are
going
to come running.
Yeah, it's not going to affect the bull population other than not as many will be produced. But you say not as many, but there might be. If half of them are dying anyway.
Right.
And you knock the moose herd in half, it's still going to be, if they all make it after that, it's still going to be the same amount, At least
they may find out it helps it.
Yeah. Well,
so that's the experiment, right?
Definitely the experiment is because of the ticks, the moose aren't as healthy anymore. So now they're more susceptible to the other parasitic things they get, like lungworm and brain worm. And there's another thing they get. It's something cyst that moose get. And it usually affects the younger moose, so that's why a lot of the young moose die off. But I was talking to the biologist there, Lee Cantor again, and he said it's because when they get in a weakened state, normally they can fend off maybe the other ailments they have. But when they get so weakened by the ticks, because what it does, it just takes the blood out of them, they're anemic, they can't fight off anything, so they end up laying down and dying,
Yeah, that's Lee Cantor being in the position, and we've talked. I mean, we had him on here talking about it and what he was trying to do, and so many people, everyone's got an opinion on it, which is great, and so many people go after Lee as if he wants to destroy the moose population.
Yeah,
those moose are his life.
Yeah,
like that's all he thinks about and works on, and so he's just trying something different. If
Right.
If you don't try something different, nothing will change, and
then you get the people that don't go out in the woods in the winter or see anything that's got the biggest opinions on it,
I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but I certainly,
you got to try something.
Can't say I know more than the biologist that spends his life working on it.
Yeah, well, to me, it's logical, and I floated that to him 10 years ago, I think, back when we were having the problem. And to me, it was just my opinion. I just thought that it just made sense that if the cycle of those ticks is totally on the moose, the life cycle, if you have less moose, you'll have less place for the ticks to be, so they'll be less produced. I mean, to me, I'm just a logical person. I don't have that kind of education in biology and all that. I just see what I see in the woods, spend a fair amount of time in the woods.
And even if it did just decimate the herd in that area, as if they're not going to filter back and come back, I mean, it's just in the scope of things.
In 2 or 3 years, they'll be back.
Better than before. I mean, I ever tell you the story about all the bucks that got killed out of that where I used to live in Baldwin? So the Maine Sportsman came out with an ad one year, and I had to comment to them about it, but it said the best place in southern Maine to kill a buck was West Baldwin. Deer behind every tree. Yeah. So after a phone call and me ranting about shit I probably didn't even know about, but anyways, I did. It didn't help. The first day, opening day, there was orange everywhere. There was 27 trucks parked on one road that I hadn't seen a hunter on in years since I'd lived there. So that area was known for a decent-bodied deer, but with real small racks. So I can't remember now the exact number they tagged between Cornish and Sebago, what they tagged for deer, but it was an astronomical amount came out of that one big valley. And so the next year was kind of stale. I don't even know if I hunted there for 2 years. On the third year, I was up back walking the property line. I found this signpost rub. And I was like, geez, I'll walk back up in here one day. So one night after work, I ran up and I shot that one behind Rick hanging on the wall, about 22 inches wide, 10-point. It went 205 or something. Well, what had happened was the gene pool of another deer herd came up over the mountain and came down into that valley. And then after a while, we started shooting. I got friends that shot deer similar to that, good, heavy, wide racks. So it wiped out that gene pool in a sense and brought in another one. So, you never know. And I know Zone 4 has been cut pretty hard in the last 2 years. So the moose feed over there in another year or two, when this all starts to rebound, should be really good.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of feed there. But I know gal I used to guide, Sue, she was beyond biologist because she wrote books to teach biology, but she told me that deer and moose and elk and that, ungulates, whatever they call them, and then in the normal habitat, they reproduce by 40% a year. In other words, they'll increase 40% a year. Well, you ain't got to do the math too much to figure out that's a pretty quick recovery time because you ain't shooting 40% out of any area,
Right, no.
But that's how much they can repopulate by. And I think that was the reason which caused our moose herd to explode like that was they just weren't given enough permits to even scratch the surface of it back in the 90s, early 2000s. They weren't killing enough moose, so they just overpopulated. And Mother Nature always picks up from there. Doesn't matter what species it is. It'll be some kind of disease, Hal here, and I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about Onyx. Been using it now for about a year, deer hunting, moose hunting, turkey hunting, all of that, and really come to really like it. I like the satellite imagery mainly because I can locate hidden fields, for turkey hunting, the bogs for moose hunting. You can tell the different stage of cuts up here in the big woods for deer, whether it's clear cuts, select cuts, see the skid roads, and it's really a big help I found coming out at night. It's can really tell you like the easiest way to get out. If you got a couple miles, a couple hours to walk out. And so, anyways, got the app on my phone, got the chip in my GPS, and I'm good to go. So not only that, it's used by 4,600 game wardens across the country, which is pretty incredible, and Bureau of Land Management, Forest Service, wildlife biologists, and all that. They all use it, so I guess it's something you ought to be using too. So anyways, go to onx.com and you punch in the promo code BWB, and you're going to get a 20% discount. Good hunting. Hey, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the hunting club. And you can join by going right online at bigwoodsbucks.com. But anyways, I've got all my information is going in there, and it's a place where you can get together and look at my films, tips, writings, and all of that. And the best part is forums for you to communicate with, the rest of the club members, talk about big wood stuff and all of that. So anyways, $36 a year, cheaper than getting a Starbucks once a day. So join up, and hope you see you on there.
Your window washer go on strike, Lee?
Are you referencing my Christmas decoration?
Merry Christmas still on the front window.
Hey, listen, it's Christmas here every day. That UPS truck is here every day at 2 o'clock, and if he ain't, I go looking.
Yeah, he's hoping people will come in and buy Christmas gifts for next year. This year.
Yeah. I got some Windex if it bothers you.
No, it doesn't. I like it. I'm always in the Christmas spirit when I see something like that. So.
Yeah. I think it's the big buck that bothers you.
It is. Yeah. Looks like, is that a red deer?
It looks like a red stag to me.
I don't know.
Wandered into town.
Some 5-year-old in China put that together, and you're making fun of
it. You hunted all this year, Rick? You get out a day or two?
Yeah. Pretty much every day, I think, besides work.
Yeah,
we started out in mule deer season in Wyoming. That was, I think, the first week of September, and hunted Wyoming pretty hard that week. My buddy Todd killed a real nice muley that was, I think he had 19 points. That was a nice buck. Yeah, and I didn't kill one that week. Ended up going back home and worked for a week or two and got geared up for elk season, and mule deer season ends in Wyoming on October 6th, so I think we got back out there the 28th of September, and so I had a few days to hunt, so we ended up getting into camp at like 4 a.m. in the morning. The flights all got changed because of COVID and all that stuff, so we got in at 4 a.m. I slept an hour, woke up at 5, told Nancy, I said, I'm going to go drive to Bondurant and go up on the mountain I've been hunting there and see if I can find that buck. So I drove about an hour, got up in there, and it was just getting light when I got there and got out of the truck, and I was kind of pondering which way I was going to go. I said, geez, I could go down in this valley, or I could go up on that mountaintop, and it was kind of foggy that morning. Just one of those nice mountain mornings, the fog rolling in, the temperature was pretty cold. It was just right. I said, I'm going to head up on that mountain. There was a burn up there. So I hiked up probably a mile. I got up in there, and I was probably another 1,000 feet up higher than where I started, and kind of just poking along, sneaking along, getting to where I wanted to go. And I see a deer ahead of me about 300 yards, and I could just see his ass end walking away from me, and couldn't really tell what it was. So I waited a minute there and leaned up against a tree and watched him. I had quite a bit of open area there in front of him, and he was feeding along. Finally, he picked his head up, and when he picked his head up, he was, I don't know, pushing 30 inches wide. But he wasn't real tall, but he's wide. And I said, that's a pretty good buck. I said, not bad. I wasn't really going to shoot him. And then I picked up, put him in the scope.
I know what that means.
How do you know that? You've done that before?
And I've heard you do that more.
Yeah, so I watched him for a few minutes there, and when he turned around straight on and kind of looked at me, then I could tell really how wide he was. And I said, geez, I probably ought to shoot him. I've only got about 3 days to hunt. And so I did. I shot him. He was a nice buck. Yeah, he probably scored 160. Decent mule deer. Not a monster, but huge body on him. I bet he weighed 350.
Wow. Oh, no kidding?
Oh, yeah. Huge body on him. Big deer. Ended up going to, I called Nancy there just after daylight, and I said, hey, what are you doing? She says, sleeping. I says, can you get that jet sled out of the garage? And I said, drive up to Bondurant.
That's a good woman right there. Yeah, I can guarantee you.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, we dragged him down off the mountain.
Oh, nice. Brought him out whole.
Yeah, he passed me twice in that jet sled.
Should have got in it. I got in it with him.
This is no snow. It was all sagebrush.
Oh.
It was a rough ride.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
So that was number one.
Yeah, and then we elk hunted all week, and I hunted hard with her. She wanted to kill first time she'd ever put in for a bull tag, and we had like a microburst out there in September, and it was in between the beginning of mule deer and when we came back, and there is just millions of trees that are 4 or 5 feet at the butt, just laid over everywhere now in that whole Wind River range. Over in Bondurant, it's like it just passed it right by. There's not a tree over there blown down. But in that Wind River range, all the way from Jackson, clear down past my camp in Boulder there, it's a mess. All the horse trails are blocked, everything.
Got a name like that for a reason, huh, Wind River?
Yeah, I'd say. So we had a hard time even getting into where we usually hunt. And we were on to a few bulls, and we never got close enough for her to get a shot. We had a few bugling fairly close, but they would come in, and you'd move a little bit and bugle again and call to them, and they'd come back and forth and played with them quite a bit. And she just never got a shot at them. But she got to experience it. I think she put on 66 miles walking with me that week.
Nice.
Yeah. And I ended up, she took a day off second to the last day, and I walked up into behind the camp there. There's a canyon, Irish Canyon. I walked up there probably 3 miles up on the top of the mountain, and that's when you start to get into all them blowdowns. And I saw a pretty nice bull. I was up in there probably 6 miles, and I saw a pretty nice bull that day that I could have shot, and I thought to myself, I'll be 3 days with a chainsaw getting him out, so I didn't shoot him. So I'm walking down out of there, and there was a spot in the trail where I had put a can of peaches the day before, and I shoved it under a log. And I usually do that when and then if I come back and I got 4 or 5 miles back to camp, I'll sit down and eat that can of peaches, drink the juice. And so I said, couldn't wait to get down there and eat that can of peaches. I was dry, really dry. So I get down there and
I just imagine this can of peaches under a log.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 25 years.
I've known you a long time, and that's the first I ever heard of the peaches.
You'll learn.
Yeah, I'm trying. Gotta start carrying some peaches with me.
Well, they counter as a teacup later on when you want to build a fire and carry a tea bag. Many times I've done that.
Yeah. Next thing we're going to find out he's making cobbler down there over the fire.
You'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't.
So I ripped off 3 or 4 bugles before I sat down. And I opened up that can of peaches, and I got my jackknife, and I got one in my mouth, and I hear a bugle. And I thought to myself, I said, "Oh, that's another hunter. I just called another hunter in." So I kept eating, and I'm sitting in. I hear another bugle. I said, "Yeah, that's definitely another hunter." 3 or 4 minutes later, I look, and I see legs coming at me, brown legs. And I said, "Oh, I guess that's not a hunter." And set that can of peaches down, grabbed my rifle, and it was a pretty decent 5x5. I mean, I wouldn't have shot him normally, but
see,
being the next to the last day, and we needed meat.
You thought I was kidding, didn't you?
Yeah.
All 68 deer on your wall. I wasn't going to shoot them, but it was getting close to the end, or there was a storm coming.
I did have a dry deer season though. I didn't shoot a deer on 3 other trips. Passed everything. Never pulled the trigger.
Huh.
Yeah. I shot one in Nebraska. I went to a place called Shadron, and it was half whitetails, half mule deer.
Oh.
And it was funny, these mule deer, they would stay up on the little mountains in the pines and then come down, filter down in the afternoon or early morning. And the whitetails stayed kind of in the lower country out there.
Huh.
And I ended up, first afternoon we were there, we hunted in the morning. I see quite a few small bucks, and I think I had a whitetail tag. I think you could just shoot a whitetail. You can get 2 tags in Nebraska, a mule deer and a whitetail. So got back to the cabin, and I asked the outfitter there, I said, so what's up behind here? And he said, oh, you can go forever. He said, just walk forever. And I said, perfect. I said, that sounds just like my country. So he says, yeah, you're going to run into public land up there, in a couple miles. And he says that public land goes for 2 or 3 miles after that. And, of course, I had Onyx, and it showed everything on there on Onyx. That's the beauty of that. You know whose fence line you're on, where you got to be, and there's no guessing. So I hiked all the way up in that back country, and I got up in there on this mountaintop, and there was a fence line, and it was the public land right on the edge of it. And I said, well, because usually on public land it gets hunted pretty hard, and you don't really see a lot of big bucks. Well, I'm kind of walking that fence line, and I look down in this valley, and about, I think he was 280 yards, I see this buck laying down, and I could see the end of his beams coming out. Couldn't really tell what he was, but I could tell he was pretty wide and heavy, and I said, Jesus, that looks like a pretty good buck.
Whitetail?
Whitetail. Yeah. He was an 8-pointer. And he stood up just like he saw me. He just stood right up and he looked in my direction. And I went, oh, he see me. And then he just turned it away, started walking with his head down. And he walked, 20 yards, laid right back down again. So I glassed him up there a little bit and decided, I said, yeah, I probably ought to shoot him. He's better than anything the guy had on his wall back in the camp. So, and you kind of got to gauge your deer on the area.
Yeah.
You can't go hunt for Boone and Crockett where there ain't any.
Right.
Yeah. And so I shot him, and we had quite a time getting him out of there.
What did he score? That was a nice buck.
Yeah, I didn't score him, but I'd say he's right around 140. Yeah. Nice, good 8-pointer.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we went back to Nebraska, me and Nancy, on a mule deer hunt, and we were in the Sand Hills, and first time I'd ever been there. And it's kind of just like rolling sand hills, like they say, with sagebrush and not many trees. There'd be a cedar here and there, but no cover at all. You look at it and you'd say to yourself, man, there's not a deer here. But you get poking around, and there'll be deer behind every one of those hills. They're just laying these little, open spots, just protected by the wind. Of course, they get a lot of wind out there. Or they might be in the sun in the morning, laying on the east side, or on the sun. They'll move in the afternoon. So you kind of got to, in the first couple of days, you kind of learn what those deer are doing the first couple of days, and then hunt according to what you're learning. Because when you go to a new place, it's always different. So we got, Nancy and I, we see quite a few mule deer just poking around those sand hills. The guide would drop us off, and we'd go in and hunt and poke around, and he'd kind of tell us where the deer would be in certain canyons and stuff. And second day we got in there, and we snuck around this one hill, and she was behind me, and there was probably 25 does and this one real wide buck. He was probably 28, 30 inches wide, pretty tall, and he was pretty occupied with those does, and she shot him with a muzzleloader and dropped him dead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, she was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I ended up seeing, I don't know, probably a dozen bucks, but nothing I really wanted to kill.
You did hunt. You had you came close here in Maine. You kind of skipped over that, but you had a good.
I actually I passed 11 bucks in Maine this year. I passed a couple of pretty decent 8-pointers. I wouldn't say they were heavy body weight deer, probably 180, 190, but one of them had a pretty decent rack. But there was 2 different bucks that I had on camera. One of them's the shed I brought and showed you.
Yep.
And when you want to kill a big deer like that, you kind of got to tell yourself, I'm either going to kill this buck or nothing, and be satisfied with it. And because the minute you pull the trigger, the thought of ever shooting that deer is over. When you pull the trigger on something else, your chances are 0. So I usually stick with it when I find a deer. But I had this one big non-typical, and he'd gross score probably in the 170s. I found his shed, I never saw him the whole season. He was just totally nocturnal. I think he was bedding on posted property, though, a lot of the time down home where I hunt.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had a big 9-pointer over the camp, and huge beams on him, big wide deer, and I hunted him. I did see him one morning, never got a shot at him, but passed a lot of other deer up. Jenna saw him one morning. I sat her down. It's kind of a funny story. Walking down this tote road, and it was the first week of the season. I was walking down this tote road, and first morning I'd been in there in about a week, and there was 11 rubs on that tote road in about 100 yards. I said, wow, he's living right here. And she was with me, and I was going to take her down the bog. So I said, no, I'm going to set you right here. I said, so I made her a little ground blind, and there was an old stump that had been cut probably 20 years ago and kind of had rotted a little bit. I cleaned that off, put some fir boughs on it, and I broke off about a dozen fir boughs that were like 4 feet tall and just stuck them in the ground so she had a little cover. Well, sitting in my stand, I went down, sat in a stand on the bog. In the first hour, she texted me. She says, Dad, I just saw him. And I said, you didn't get a shot at him? She goes, he was 10 feet from me. She goes, and there was a little bit of a brush pile, an old brush pile where they had logged and left a bunch of crap and maybe pushed it up with a dozer or something. And he come from behind that. She said I could see his tines when he was coming. And she made the mistake. She didn't have her gun to her shoulder. But she could see his tines for a minute, and then she said the minute he come around the corner, he was looking straight at her. So he didn't run. He just kind of turned around and left. Yeah. But never got a chance at him again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were on with a good one up north, too, that day. Was that that was black powder, right?
Yeah, that was black powder, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice buck. That might have been the one that Hal sent me the picture of that the coyotes killed.
Yeah. Got hit by a car, we think, first, and then coyotes got it.
But he was a monster. I bet that deer probably would have been at least 230 or bigger. But I set my rifle into his bed, took a picture of it, and I had a foot on either side of his bed where he was laying. And I tracked him, I don't know, like 11 miles that day. I ended up on 2 mountains over from where my truck was, and I tracked him right till dark. I ended up firing at him. He was actually coming up his back track, coming at me, and I was tracking him, and he started following tote roads. You could tell he was settling down. He started following these old skidder ruts, and he started searching for those. What he was doing, he was just in and out. And I was following his tracks with my eyes ahead before I started walking again to his last spot, and I looked up, and he's coming right at me. I could see him coming right out of the brush, probably like 75 yards. And just as I swung the muzzleloader to my shoulder, he saw me at the same time, and he just started to turn like a big buck does and just go right back the same direction. Well, I fired, and it looked good. I was pretty confident. In fact, I reloaded, and I said, I got him. And there was those little maple whips that grow up after they cut, where the moose chew them down, and usually the tops are all crowned up. And there was, I don't know, a couple hundred of them between me and him. But it was fairly open, but I had to have hit one of them. I never went back and looked because I tried to stay on him till dark, get another shot at him. But after I got up, I never touched him. Yeah. So then he went over another mountain over the backside, and I said, it's probably a 2-hour walk to my truck. I said, I'll stay on him for another hour. I said, I got an hour of twilight, and I know that area like the back of my hand. I said, if I can get out of the woods by dark, I can walk a road all the way to the truck. And so I'm walking along, and it's getting pretty close to dark. I just give up on the buck, and I said, man, it's going to be pitch dark when I get to my truck. And it was cold, and I was sweating all day, soaking wet. And I heard this diesel truck, and I said, I wonder if that's Joe. So I called him on the phone. I had 2 bars of service. I said, hey, Joe, where are you?
Don't say the name.
No, we won't do that again.
Oh, no, just do it to Lee. Yeah.
We were in Rangeley, right?
Well, Joe said, I'm in Portage Brook.
No, Quill Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
On a migrating deer. So he says, yeah, I'm on such and such a road. I said, I think I hear you. I said, I've been tracking this buck all day, and I said, I'm down on I said, it's a brand new road they just built in the last couple of years. I hadn't been in there in quite a while, but hunted that my whole life. And it weren't 2 minutes. He drives over the hill.
I know right where you're at.
Yeah.
We were literally a half a mile apart.
Yeah, he drives over the hill. Saved me like 2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, just before dark.
5 miles of walking. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Joe here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Lake Parlin Lodge. We're a 4-season lodge located just south of Jackman. We've got cabins, lodge rooms, mini lodge. We're a big snowmobile destination in the winter, full restaurant, bar, all the amenities that you need for your trip. Open obviously through the summer, right on the lake. Kayaks, canoes, all included with the cabin. We also do a lot of weddings, so if you're looking for a destination wedding, we can do a wedding up to 200 people. And, of course, we've got our hunting season, moose season, deer season. So check us out. We're at lakeparlinlodge.com.
Hey, everyone. Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the Woodman Arms muzzleloader. We got them all set on the website to build your own or buy your Big Woods Bucks model, either one you want to do. But anyways, we've tested it a lot, and I can honestly say it's the most accurate muzzleloader on the market, best to carry in the Big Woods or anywhere else at 5.5 pounds. You can't go wrong with it. So get on there and check it out.
Went back the next day and came close the next day getting them.
Yeah, we should have had him.
Right there.
Ran out of snow. It warmed up.
Yeah.
I got on him that morning. He was actually bedded up across that cut watching us when we drove up and cut his track. He had made a loop right around the entire mountain.
They do that all the time there in that spot.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. And he watched us. He watched me come all the way up through, figuring his track out. He was with 2 does kind of meandering back and forth, so he was in and out of all these furs, back and around. So it took me a half hour to get it straightened out and get up in there. And I think it was Sandy was with us, and he said, yeah, that's probably him right laying up on that hill right there, this brown spot. And I'll be damned, he was 20 feet to the right of it where he was bedded.
No kidding.
Yeah. I had I got one of my, not this past season, but the season before, Kevin, him and I went up there, and where we jumped, it was probably, I'm sure it was the same buck, where it was bedded that day and we jumped him was, literally right next, same track, everything, right up through that piece of softwood. That's part of his routine there.
Right, they can lay there, watch their whole back track.
See everything
that goes on, and it's hardwoods behind him, so nothing can really sneak up. That's why he's big.
Yep.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
Well,
I think there's more than one there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's another one just like him.
Matt chased one around there, too, and could be the same buck. I had Matt pretty excited there, but I asked Rick, I sent him the picture. I said, is that the same one? It might be, but if I got that good of a look at it, he'd be dead.
Yeah, he'd have been dead. Yeah. He looked like he had darker horns, the picture you sent me, than the one I saw.
Yeah.
So maybe he's still alive.
That's funny because the one that I believe either Matt or Dave, one of them, saw a buck there, jumped him, and said it had white horns.
Yeah.
Big buck with white horns, and that one that was killed, that was definitely a dark horn buck.
Yep.
He had a foot on him. You could lay a 30-06 cartridge sideways in the back of his track. He was a horse.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Getting exciting. Any more? It's getting tight to get in there during November now, isn't it? Any spots left?
Oh, yeah, not much. All the guided hunts are filled up for this year, and we've got, I just booked another camp last night. We got 2 slots, or two slots would be lodging. So I got one room, be for like a couple or a single person, a king-size bed, and there's a cabin with, I think, 2 or 3 beds. I can't remember, but that's all that's left. That's for Thanksgiving week. That's all that's left. So
yeah, Thanksgiving week's always a little bit tougher because people don't want to leave and travel then and everything. But it's a good week, though.
Yeah, that actually filled up pretty quick this year. Seems like. I think a lot of it is people, they're going to come anyway because, obviously that's a week that you think there'll be the most snow, towards the end of the season. So
everyone's been cooped up with their families for the last year, so they just want to get away from their
Yeah.
Thanksgiving and Christmas mean nothing.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to get in on that American plan the last week, and get a hold of me. We'll get you in. That'll be filled up. It'll be one less thing to think about. Deer clinics are filled up. They have been. I filled them pretty quickly, but I was thinking the way this winter is, and the way this snow, unless something drastic changes, I think the snow will go quick enough. I've got people already on a waiting list. I could do another one earlier, you know, but I won't be able to make that decision till probably, like a month out.
Yeah.
But
that's
usually
March.
A month is usually plenty of time to. So if anybody else is interested in coming on my deer clinic there in the spring, you can email me, and I'll put you on a list if that opens up, or a cancellation list.
Yeah. Another laundry item there is Remington.
Yes, that's right. We'll talk about that for a minute here. I finally got a hold of. It's kind of like my last contact there since I quit working there. So the word is now is the new owners will have people coming back to Ilion. They've been doing some maintenance upgrades on the plant, and I guess the first 200 workers will come back March 1st, and production will begin. And they're going to start with shotguns, and I'm sure it's the 870s first, and then so they're going to work on shotguns first. Obviously, they're easier to make and stuff, so they're going to get going with that. And people been asking about, if we're going to do another 7600 limited, and we are eventually, hopefully. I mean, if they get that rolling, but it isn't going to be this year, because the guy that I had contact with thought probably they might not even be doing rifles for a year or two. So,
but the ones we're waiting on supposedly just have to be assembled, correct?
Yeah, the 17 we've been waiting on since last year. Those, everything that they didn't buy, the Huntsville plant didn't come with it. So everything that was there, all the materials and machinery, was sent to Ilion. So he said those parts of those guns, which they told me they were finished, they need assembly, are evidently they're in Ilion somewhere in crates or whatever, or boxes. So that's where that's at.
We could storm the plant.
Yeah. Which it's really, we talked about it, but it's.
Are you inciting a riot?
I don't know. They might try to come after me.
I couldn't leave that one alone.
Well, hey, this is something I saw yesterday that it probably shouldn't be shocking now, and we're going to go off the rails just for a second here, but it was a police officer showing up at someone's house because this woman had posted something on video about the mayor saying she's going to go and do a lawn job or something, which she had no intent. It was like just social media. The police came to her house because of something that she said, and they were telling her it's illegal to trespass. She said, I didn't trespass. I just wrote something on, and they showed up because she talked about trespassing. And that was...
Yeah, crazy. It's a crazy world.
So anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get too far off there, but that kind of shocked me when I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me now, though.
No.
Anything can happen.
But what's happened?
They should be scared.
Right.
Yeah. The aftermarket for the 7600 carbines is through the roof. It's crazy. It gets crazier every day because and now that I've just said that they probably ain't going to make any rifles for a couple of years, it's really might even get crazier if anybody's looking for stuff. But they're hard to find.
Prices just went up when you said that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, some of them...
Hal's going to get it for insider trading.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ask Martha how it is.
Hey, I hope they go after Remington stock like they did on GameStop.
That
It's a dying company.
Yeah. There's no... that's never been publicly traded.
I know. Just a dream.
Yeah. But, yeah, so anyways, it's aftermarket. It's crazy for carbines. I mean, I don't know if you can buy much.
No.
For less than $1,500 unless it's junk. You know?
There's not even much for sale. Nobody's selling much.
And if they are, everybody knows they're worth something. So,
yeah, I've been watching the whole ammo thing, and I mean it's it's bad. You know, in the past, people have talked about it, but this is the worst I've ever seen it. Even close to it. And on my stop there, on my way back and forth from home to work, I stopped in there in the local shop on the way, and he had 6 boxes of 35 whaling, and they were like $34 a box.
That's cheap anyway.
Yeah.
I thought, I ought to buy those. Even though I don't have a 35 whaling, maybe one day one of those 17 will be built.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought about it, and then someone told me my friend Jeremy went to Cabela's, and he said he got 5 boxes of birdshot. And I was like, whippy, that's unbelievable when you're scrounging. That's all, no rifle ammo. When I went to Cabela's, there was nothing, no rifle or pistol ammo.
Yeah, I was in Cabela's in Nebraska, South Dakota. Where else? Arizona. We went in Tucson when we flew in because I did a crossbow archery hunt on mule deer. No ammo on the shelves at all. Yeah, I mean there was nothing.
So I heard that. I said I stopped the next
a few shotgun shells, but no rifle.
He still had 4 boxes, and I bought all of them.
Yeah,
but that's all he had. It was 35 whaling. It's kind of an oddball round. It's not real common, but anything common.
Yeah,
don't even think about it. It's all
was
gone.
it Remington ammo?
No.
I bought at Moosehead Trading Post, the one in Newport, the other day. He got in some 243 Super Short Mag, which Sierra, my daughter's, that's her gun. And he had 4 boxes. He'd only let me buy 2.
Yeah.
And he had 4 boxes of 30-06, and he'd only let me buy 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were limited here during bird season to 1 box a day.
1 box a day.
1 box a day. They were rationing
that many partridge?
Yeah. Wow. That many hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got crazy, but
supply and demand. Yeah. I did like the Remington Ammo CEO, that video he put out there recently. That was good.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that they're still producing all they can, but people are just buying it up.
Well, instead of buying a box, people are buying a case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing you got to throw in that equation is they said there's already, just since the first of this year, 4 million
new shooters,
new gun owners. Yeah. So everybody that buys a gun is going to go buy a bunch of ammo. So that's
right.
You think about that 4 million, and if they all buy that's a lot of ammo.
Mm. Well, I think COVID has shown people how fast society can break down.
Yeah,
really can. It can go to shit fast.
Yeah.
Faster than we ever thought. I think.
Oh, I thought we would. I thought most people would be able to keep it together, but
right.
I think there's a lot of people that actually look forward to that shit. Right in Kingfield, Maine, I saw this 17-year-old masturbator. I call him basement masturbator. Yeah, holding a sign on Main Street that said "Anarchy is the answer," and I'm like, turn this truck around, and we couldn't get back to him fast enough, and somebody else had him off in the street, but we were going to show him some anarchy. Yeah, this is what you really want because you have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, they can barely spell anarchy, and they want it. Yeah.
It's
nonsense.
Like, who wakes up in the morning and wants things to go to shit?
Yeah.
What kind of person thinks that way? Who raised him? Where's your mother? Where's your father? They should be slapped.
Well, it might not be that. It's a lot of them young people. They get on the web, on the internet there, and they search for that stuff, and they get their mind brainwashed in there, They don't have no common sense at that age, so... Yeah, it's easy to manipulate them, and they know the people that do that stuff online know how to manipulate people.
Plus, they're looking for attention.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yep.
Yeah. I read an article yesterday about Minneapolis that people are all upset there now because it's taken so long for police to arrive. That was ground zero for defund the police.
Yeah,
and they wonder.
Yeah, $6.4 million just went back into the police fund. They're hiring new recruits.
Yeah,
but
duh.
Yeah. It's not rocket science.
Oh,
yeah. So, anyways, I guess we covered a lot of ground here today.
Yep.
And you got any of them carbines to sell, Joe?
Nope.
I will to the highest bidder. I got to finish my house.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Roger bought one off me.
Yeah.
One of the ones I got, and I sold it to him because it's a friend.
Yeah.
I didn't mind, so I sold it to him what I paid for it, and I found a few. I got on and did some searching and came across some from out west and everything and bought them for a decent price. And I got 5 or 6 now, and that was...
Yeah, I got some. I'm going to get rid of a couple. I keep thinking about what am I going to do with this stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, at your advanced age, you got to start thinking that way.
Yeah. I'll keep enough for my...
I mean, you got to start counting and like how many years anyway. Yeah. So
you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that one of these days.
Well, I pay for it all the time. He out hunts me every time. So what the hell? Yeah, he's going to be 85 and still killing bigger bucks than me. So I got to get him where I can.
I had bought a couple of rifles. One of them's actually new. It's a 308, and then I bought one that was a nice 760 rifle. That's in '06, and I took the barrels off and had them sent out and had them cut, sights put back on them. Should get them back any day.
Who'd you have do it?
M&R in Vermont, Highgate, Vermont.
Yeah,
M&R guns. So those should be back, and I got the rifle, the '06 760 is sold, but I got a couple of people that have been asking about some others, but I'm going to get rid of that 308. So it'll be a nice. That's a kind of a popular one because they never made the 308 except in a special run when they started making the 7600s again. And this is actually, that gun it's only a year old. It was made. It's a newer gun, but I said I'll just have that cut down and I'll resell that one. And then I got that. Did I show you the one I got that was the still in the box?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got one new in the box, Rick. A 760. It's a 1968, and the box says is a DuPont box.
Wow.
It's still got the little tag on the trigger. It's in the box, never been fired, right in the original box.
Wow, unreal.
Hal took a Dremel tool and signed his name in the stock.
Yeah.
I put it on the market.
Yeah, I've had that a little bit, and I said I got it, and I'm like, I'm going to sell that. So
that's a beauty. That's a rare elephant.
Anybody listening?
So is that one got the stuff. I call it the ring, the front forearm stock. Is that the ring stock?
No, that's the original 760. There was two versions of the 760. The original
what, 68?
The first 760s were made in the 50s, and they had that. They called them ones with the lines, a Tootsie Roll forend.
Right.
And those were made until 60s, and in I think around 60, 61, they changed the stock to look like the 7600, what we know now in the 7600. The forend was a little wider and not as high as the older ones.
Right.
In the original ones, they only checkered on those original ones. They put the lines in the forend, and they didn't checker the buttstock. It was plain.
Right, it was smooth, right, all
smooth,
the way.
Smooth, unless it was a special one. They did make some that were, they called them a 5-diamond deluxe, and they had a 5-diamond checkering pattern on the forend. I actually have one of those, too. I got one of those in carbine.
Yeah, no
in
kidding.
My private stash, yeah.
Nice.
So, but anyways, so
that's that.
That's the news on everything. So
that's fun.
Lee's got his hands in his head in his hands.
He doesn't even know we're here.
Yeah, he's worried about.
Once we stopped talking politics, he cut right out. He doesn't even like the deer hunt anymore. I think he's going to run for office here in Rangeley.
It seems a little long-winded.
Yeah, I think he's mad because now the snow's completely stopped.
We're going to talk about snowmobiling,
snow and ice and stuff.
Yeah,
we're going to do a podcast when we get back, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I got my GoPro ready. I want to see Rick Labbe do a re-entry, hop over, and maybe even a couple of drops. I haven't dropped. I've dropped like 35 or 40 feet. I want to drop 100 feet.
Yeah.
I probably won't be there for that.
Well, you got to watch. You got to watch.
I'll give you 5 minutes to talk about that trip.
Rick told us a story of when he went bear hunting in Alaska. He had to teach his guide out there how to ride a snowmobile.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Get up to his bear.
Like that.
But we'll save that for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't forget about peaches.
Yeah. No, I'm going to put that on the grocery list for deer season now.
I think that's going to be Rick's new nickname.
Well, I will.
That's great.
All right, we're gonna end this podcast on this note. I'll take peaches all day long over a meatloaf sandwich.
Joe's the only one that don't like the meatloaf. Everybody people would come on and say it was their favorite meal.
No,
not
they're
only
just
sandwiches.
They're just blowing smoke up your
their
ass.
favorite meal, and Joe don't like the
Cold meatloaf.
You know what he'd rather have?
I'm kind of with him though.
Really?
Yeah.
He'd rather have a ham and cheese cold cut sandwich.
Peanut butter and fluff.
Oh, you imagine?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So,
good luck on the trail.
No, we got.
We got another podcast to do,
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So we got to tell people to
tune in,
click and subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah. And if you're on iTunes and you like what you're hearing, you can leave a review on there. That's always good for us. And if you don't like it, just quietly go away. And or put a bad review. I'm the king of promotion over here.
Yeah.
And but yeah, OnX. I mean, I literally use OnX this time of year for what I use it almost every single day for something.
You know why that is, Rick?
Don't know where I'm going.
He can never find his way back.
Can you read a compass?
No, I use the waypoint function, and then it helps me when there's snow on the ground. I just follow my tracks back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one last thing is right within the next week or so, we're going to have we're going to post on YouTube. Should have mentioned this when we was into the moose, but Rob's Wings moose hunt back from 2014. We had kind of forgot about it and lost it, and I actually thought it was on YouTube, and it wasn't. We'd had it on Vimeo all the time. So we're going to put that on YouTube in the spirit of applying for moose permits. It's a fun hunt. He shot that bull actually. I think it was 0.2 of a mile from where I shot my bull in there the year before. Yeah, it was a fun hunt. But
same genetics, probably.
I don't think so.
No?
No, it wasn't. It totally looked different bull, but yeah. There's different gene pools in that area. The ones I've seen in there, some of that stuff's crazy.
Yeah.
But can't wait to get in there this fall with some lucky hunter. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, good luck on the trail.